All right. Good morning once again, and welcome to our ES10 class. So this morning we will discuss lecture 4. So this lecture is entitled the Engineering Career Path. This lecture is actually a combination of the two lectures, which is supposedly all about the opportunities for engineers, and as well as uh, the estimated salaries for the engineers when you graduate, when you will be working like 5 to 10 years from now. uh, what are the opportunities, career opportunities that you might work with or interested with, no? So I just want to confirm if the slides are if this slide presentation slide is okay in your screen. Can you see the slides?
Yes po,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Can
Yes
you
po,
see the
sir.
slides?
Yes,
Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
sir.
no?
Yes po.
Claro?
Yes, sir.
Opo.
All right.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
So uh, this is our lecture 4. And this is entitled Engineering Career Path. No? So as I have mentioned, we will be discussing this morning about the opportunities, the job opportunities locally and abroad, no, for engineers, regardless if what specific engineer field you belong. No, as long as that you are a graduate of any engineering program. No, but in the later part, which is all about the salaries, I just collated details about the estimated salary of an agricultural and biosystems engineers in the Philippines. No, so I did not include any other engineering programs. Na, only the agricultural because it's a varied numbers. No, lahi depende sa engineering field. All right. Uh, there are some important quotations or uh, sayings that other scientists said, no? And I quote, like what Albert Einstein said, scientists investigate that which already is, and engineers create that which has never been, no? And Henry Petroski also said, and I quote, science is about knowing while engineering is about doing. If you could still remember in our previous lectures, no, uh, weeks back, I have already differentiated. I already discussed to you the difference between science and scientists and engineering, no, or scientists and engineers, and then science and engineering, no. Actually, engineering is a science, no, but it specializes on what specific field, no. So I hope that it's clear with you what's the difference between science and engineering, what's engineers and scientists, and even technologists. Okay. Okay, the engineering profession, based on the reference that I have used, uh, cited or mentioned that engineers produce things that impact us every day. No, they invent, they design, they develop, manufacture, test, sell, and service products and services that improve the lives of people. No, every day, every step that you did, that you are doing every day, like for example, when you wake up, when you take or when you drink coffee, it's a product or it's an engineered product, no? The coffee that you drink, it's an engineered product, no? The mug or the glass that you use, it's an engineered product. When you go to school, when you go to the city, when you ride a bicycle, a tricycle, multi-cab or jeepney or car, it's an engineered product, no? When you buy using your money, the bill or the currency that you have, uh, is it a coin or a paper? It's an engineered product. It's a product made from engineering designs, made from science, no? So all the things that we encounter every day and every hour and even every minute, it's an engineered product. When you eat, it's an engineered product, no? the things that you encounter when you open your eyes, it's an engineered product. Okay, because science is available based on theories, but engineering is the application wherein products are developed. No, so anything that you see are engineered is engineered product. No, so that's why engineers are very critical and very fundamental or important in the society. Frequently, students like you, early in your educational careers, you find it difficult to understand exactly what engineers are doing, or what engineers do, and often more to the point where they fit best in the vast array of career opportunities available to engineers. No, kanang unsa gid ang engineer bay, no? Akong uncle engineer man, daghan man siya kwarta, no? Unsa kay naa sa iya, no? Napud koy uncle, napud koy igaagaw nga engineer pero wa gyud klaro, no? Wala lang siya, ana lang, wala siya trabaho, wala siya nagnegosyo. So, it might be a factor of personal and professional development, but the real essence of an engineer is, as I have mentioned before to you during our second or third lecture, engineers must have or possess things or must do things that relevant or kanang magamit sa society. No, we're not talking yet about the salaries, no, nga imong madawat. So you are now thinking, unsa gid ako kang trabaho, no, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, unsa na ako on your stage now. Maybe you are thinking now based on the meaning. But the common reasons for you, every one of you, I don't know if among the listed reasons here, ma-mention ang inyong mga reasons, no? Namagid mo yung mga common reasons during your interview, during your entrance or admission sa CSU, sa ABE, gina-interview mo, why are you taking ABE? No, there are a lot of engineering fields. Why you choose ABE? Sir, mauni, my mother and my parents want me to become an engineer, and then we are immersed in farming, and I realized that there's a lot of engineers needed in the community, and etc. Sir, this is my dream course. Sir, napugos ra ko. Sir, nainganyo ra ko sa akong mga classmates and sa akong mga igagaw, no? Each and every one of you has a definite reason why you are taking the program, no? And I hope, no, and I do not know if among the reasons listed herein masulod ka diri. Okay. Ingon, no? Among the common reasons for a student to be interested in engineering include, no, proficiency in math and science, no? Basin dai during your high school, during your senior high school and junior high school, you really excel in science and math. Okay. When we say science and math, pang engineering ni, pang medicine, no? Suggested by a high school enumerate counselor or teacher, no? Mag-engineering lang ka kuan, no? Kyle, kay bright ka sa math, no? Mag-engineering lang ka mapa, kay medyo hawd-hawd ka sa chemistry o physics, no? Has a relative who is an engineer, no? Ingon bali nga si Salva, ingon ang iyang uncle nga, ikaw pang engineering po ka niya, maganahan po ka sa iya because he is an engineer by profession. So somehow that's the reason why nag-engineering po ka, no? And it's a field with tremendous job opportunity. Oy, pag engineering graduate daw ka, pag engineer ka by profession, daghang kang trabaho, no? So I don't know if it's a scam or it depends on professional development and professional nga mga pamaagi, no? And then read that it has high starting salaries, no? So let's see if engineers do really have good or high starting salaries. But among these, that I have mentioned, these are among the reasons common. When we say common, not true to all, but majority nga gina-mention sa mga engineers, no, or engineering students. Okay. So let's go to the job opportunities for engineers locally and abroad. No, what are those career or job opportunities that engineers or graduate of engineering programs might be suitable to? Okay, so engineering, as I have mentioned before, no, it is an exciting field with a vast range of career opportunities. No, there's a lot of career opportunities. That's why some would say, I'm a graduate of engineering, but I'm working in the kanang unsa pa nang magabi, even gabi mag-duty sila, kanang naa sila sa mga call center, no? So there's not just nga nagid sa construction, nagid sa mga consultancy firm, nagtudlo, naagid sila sa mga research. Ang uban pod lahi-lahi na, depende na gid na siya sa passion, sa calling, no? So but since you are a graduate of engineering, so you are already knowledgeable when it comes to scientific and technical nga mga aspects, no? So it depends on you which job nga muland ka, asa ka mo padulong. But let's talk about what are the possible or what are the common and various kanang opportunities that engineering graduates are suitable, no? In trying to illustrate the wide range of possibilities, Professors Jane Daniels and Richard Grace from Purdue University constructed the cubic model of as reflected or as shown in Figure 2.1. No, this figure shows us in the one edge, no, of the cube. It represents the engineering disciplines. Makita ninyo, there is sa ubos, no, sa x-axis. Makita nato the engineering disciplines that most students identify as their potential major: agricultural, biomedical, mechanical, civil, and etc. No, and then the other edge also represents the different job functions an engineer can have within specific engineering discipline. No, unsa kay posible nga mga functions or job nga positions ang mga engineer graduates usually. So, nasa design, nasa development, nasa research, nasa testing and analysis and testing and evaluation, then nasa sales, nasa production, nasa technical support and others. No, kung mayroong tag-others, posibleng na sila sa mga call center, posibleng na sila sa mga field work. So, lahi-lahi, daghan kaayog mga opportunities. Okay. The other edge also are the industries, no? Asa pwede makasulod, no? We have transportation department or agencies, or we also have firms related to private ng mga companies, no? Ang uban nasa entertainment, no? When we say entertainment, doesn't mean nga mag-artista, no? Mag-actor. So possibly, like for example, mahimo kang engineer sa production, no? Ikaw ang tiguan sa mga electronics nila, mga cameraman, ikaw ang tig-monitor kung unsa nila hitabo, no? So there's a lot of opportunities that we can land to as graduate of engineering program, no? So pwede sa energy, sa agriculture, syempre ABE man ta, no? It's very rare nga moadto ta sa electronics because we are in the ABE. It's very rare nga moadto ta sa transportation, or it's very rare nga moadto ta sa mga electronics and communications nga industry. So syempre sa agriculture ta, no, naay uban mag-construction, naay uban mag-consumer products, but majority of us is from the agriculture, energy and consumer products, no. So posible nga dito ata mosulod. All right. So the next slide, we will now gahin-gahin, no? Atong igahin-gahin unsa ito nga mga opportunities nga pwede na masudlan. So the first one is on the research, no? Sa research. Kung sa research, within engineering, there are basic classifications of jobs that are common across the various engineering disciplines. When we say common, kanang moingon ka nga electrical engineering graduate man na siya, pero nagtrabaho man na siya diha sa CSU, no? Yeah, because not just specific to your field, nga diha lagi ka kay electrical, dito gid ka sa mga electrical company. No, the other agencies also require or also needs your expertise. No, di man na pwede nga saglit electrical ka, diha na lang gid sa mga ANECO, ASELCO, or any other companies, electrical companies, no, electricity nga mga companies or firms. Posible pod nga ang CSU lang pog electrical engineer kay kinsa na malay mag-monitor sa kanang mga electrical load, no, distribution centers, mga electrical mga wiring diha sa CSU, no. So it's impractical or it's very irrational that you will say nga agricultural engineering man ko nga graduate, no. So dili ko pwede man trabaho diha sa DSWD kay ang DSWD pang social work man na. No, the DSWD also needs your qualification or your expertise. Kaya unsa na lang ang mga fisher folks, no, farmers and fisher folks nga mga projects nila, nga mga implementation, kinsa may mag-monitor, no. So it's very irrational nga maingon ka nga your mind setting is very rare or very close nga diha lang gid ka. Dili ko ana mag-agriculture ra gid ko, no, mag fisheries ra gid ko kay graduate man ko uguan, graduate man ko og ABE, no. That's why gi-mention diha nga different classifications of jobs that are common across the various engineering disciplines. That's why when we say across, posible nga ang imong mga katrabaho are coming from the different engineering fields, electronics, chemical, ikaw ABE, and others are mechanical, and then you are on the same office, and then you are doing jobs that are interdisciplinary, no? So, however, sorry, we have specific jobs or career opportunities nga masudlan nga pwede pod nga specific rana. For example, when we say kanang pang electronics ra pud na, which we will discuss later, no? So the first one is research, no? When we say research, okay, so what are the jobs or what are the things that research engineers are doing, no? The role of the engineering researcher is the closest to that of scientists of all the engineering functions. Why? Somehow, when you are in the research field, kung naka sa isa ka research program or isa ka research project, you are doing things that every researcher is doing. For example, if there's a program or there's a project, dapat ma-establish ninyo ang data, dapat na amoy results, no? Dapat maka-publish mo ninyong output, dapat maka-present mo sa inyong output, no? Dapat ma-utilize niyo ang fund, no? Dapat ma-question, ma-answer ninyo ang inyong mga questions or mga research objectives. So you are closest to scientists, no? If you are a research engineer, then your job is closest to scientists, no? Research engineers explore fundamental principles of chemistry, physics, biology, and mathematics in order to overcome barriers preventing advancement in their field, no? Sa tanang job opportunities or sa tanang career opportunities nga pwede na to masudlan, I can tell you based on my experience that the research is among the top or highly paid positions, no? Tag-as gid ang bayad sa research. The only problem or disadvantage with research programs is that mag-end siya o dali, no? For example, 1 year lang ang project, 2 years lang ang project, and then you are earning 60,000 per month, no? So mga pa nakadaan before mag-end ang project, when or where will you work na pud sa next ni mga project? Kay pag end sa project wala na bagyod, no? There's no budget allocation for you. So among all the job or career opportunities that we can land to, ang research ang pinakataas og bayad because it really requires highly technical or kanang scientific na knowledge, no? Dili pwede nga naka sa research magsige lang kag lingkod-lingkod, no? Gamiton gid ang imong mga na-learn based on chemistry, physics, mathematics, biology, engineering sciences, and etc. No, it's among the field or career opportunities nga grabe ka bugat kung trabahoan, no? But you will learn, you will develop more. Okay? So research engineers conduct investigations to extend knowledge using various means, no? It depends on the objectives and it depends on the methods of the project, no? Unsa nila pag-achieve sa ilang mga research questions or research objectives, no? One of the means is conducting experiments. Always gina unang naa sa fieldwork ang mga research engineers. Ang ubang research engineers kay naa sa opisina, sige atubang sa computer doing kan mga work nga need ng mga applications, no? And anything depende sa target sa project, no? Research engineers may the research engineers may also be engaged in paper presentations, publications, and etc. No, and then book nga mag-publish mga book based sa mga policy brief, based sa kanang mga output sa research. No, and aside from that, dili lang mo stop sa field experimentations but also data analysis and presentation. No, so ang mga research engineers are highly paid engineers based on my observation based on my experience. Dagko ang bayad, dagko ang sweldo sa mga research engineers. The only disadvantage is that first, mag-terminate ang project, narang gina siya duration. The second one is if you are not capable enough and you are not highly technical by profession, dili kay kahaganahan og mga kanang mga research presentation, field works, di kaganahan og mga laboratory works, then you are not fit to research nga career opportunities. Okay, so I hope that it's clear with you. Okay, so the next career opportunities is development. career opportunity. Okay. Sa development, the development engineers bridge the gap between laboratory research and full-scale production. No, kani sila nga mga research engineers, no, not research, development engineers. They are continuously looking for ways to incorporate the findings of researchers into prototypes to test their feasibility for use in tomorrow's products. For example, the output of research are mostly preliminaries. Now, when we say preliminaries, somehow based on the objectives, course of actions, and based on the kanang mga research findings or research gaps, research questions. Example, na-establish na ang data. Now, what will happen now? Siyempre, based on the data, magbuhat na dahil mga prototype, no? Mag-develop na dahil og machine, magbuhat na dayon og ingani nga layout or design or whatever product na ma-develop, no? So that's on the development ng aspect. That's why nowadays it's called research and development. Sa una, separate si research, separate si development. Now, most particularly in the academe sa AMUA diri sa state universities, we call that research and development. Why? We will not settle only on the data that we gathered, but we will always settle on the output or the product that we will be developing based on our data gathered. No, so that's why it's now research and development. So most engineers are also hard in the research and development programs. Kaya para isa na siya, no, from the research. For example, the first year of the program or the project is on the research, no, research findings, data gathering, analysis. The other year, which is the second year, is the development of product, establishment of the product that the community or the beneficiaries will benefit. No, so it's now research and development. But development engineers in the other industries, they are tasked to work or develop anything nga based sa output sa research, no? So it's between the gap of laboratory research and then output. Kanang gitawag na tong tangible ba? For example, kung mag-thesis ka, dili pwede nga mag-layout lang ka, mag-design lang ka, mag-compute lang ka og mga machine specifications, no? Mag-layout lang ka, mag-sketch up lang ka, no. It's part of your research. However, para mahimo siyang tangible, mahimo siya nga output, kinahanglan nimo siya i-construct, no, imo siyang i-fabricate ang machine. After mag-fabricate og machine, imo siyang i-assess o ano po nimong data para ma-evaluate nimo ang performance ni machine. So now it's a research and development. Okay, so engineers are being employed for development projects. No, it is the role of development engineers to identify these areas and work with the design engineers to correct them before full-scale production begins. No, dili pwede nga mag-produce na ka og kaning technology unya wala gali ka kabalo sa specification based sa ilang gibuhat nga research, no, or based sa ilang design nga gibuhat. So mag-una sa gyud si imo sang i-consult sila design engineers before ang mga development engineers mo mass produce sa product. The testing and evaluation, karon ginatawag na siya nga testing and evaluation because kung moingon ta testing, basically ang testing is, for example, na kay cellphone, before ang cellphone na produce na bago siya nga unit or bago siya nga brand, dili niagi nag-testing and evaluation. Testing is just gitest imo gana ba. Evaluation is gi-evaluate na siya in terms of economic aspect, pila ka hang iyang mahimo nga income, kanus ka siya ang iya kahang lifespan, kanus ka siya madaot, ang iyang battery, ang iyang mga pisa, no, kanus siya good or bad, mga nga. So that's evaluation. Testing is gitest lang nimo if it will work according to its function, no. Calculator, before na siya i-mass produce, gitest sa na si calculator kung mugana ba gyud nga kung mga 3 times 3 ka 9 ang mugawa sa screen. But when we say evaluation, it all includes another different factors like its lifespan, no, kanus ka pila ka years, no, battery life, no, kanang iyang mga pisa diha kanus siya taman nga di siya maguba, no, kung mabasa siya unsay mahitabo. So it's now paired na pod, no, testing and evaluation. Same goes with sa inyong study, sa inyong research pohon. Kung mag-thesis na mo, you are tasked for evaluating the performance of the machine or the product that you develop, no. You are not just getting the data, testing the machine or the product, no. So when you work, sooner or later we can also be engaged in testing companies, no. So test engineers are responsible for designing and implementing tests to verify the integrity, reliability, and quality of products before they are introduced to the public. That's why if makabantay ka, hiring, no, quality assurance engineers, no, quality assurance engineers. Pilmico is now in need of quality assurance engineers. what other companies nga mga sikat Monterey or mga ingana no are in need of quality analysts, no, so you can be employed as quality assurance engineers. Then you will monitor, you will test the product before it will be mass produced or being sold to the public, no. So we are being employed to that particular opportunity, no. So mga electronic companies ingana po before ma-produce, even electrical company, mechanical, no, civil products, mga construction mga products, dili na siya gina baligya unless wala siya niaging testing and evaluation. So test engineers work with design engineers to identify the changes in the product to ensure its integrity. The test engineer devises ways to simulate the conditions of the product and will be subjected during its shelf life. Test engineers work closely with development and research engineers in evaluating prototypes and pilot facilities. So ani si research engineers, development engineers, test engineers, magpares na sila, no. Nowadays labi na sa research, isahon na lang na tanan, no. Research and development apil na diya sa evaluation, no. Kay questionon man dayon ka, what's the output of your research? Must be tangible output, no. And then what's the performance of your research, of your product? Dapat ma-show nimo. You cannot give data unless wa kani ang testing and evaluation. So mura na siya all package na, no. Kumingon kag research engineers, mura na pud na siya og development engineers, and then they are called also as test engineers, no. Labi na kung working on machine or product. Okay? So I hope it's clear. But in the real world, usually mga companies na yung mga testing companies lang, like kanang Ford nga mga tractor, no, niya siya design and development or research and development and then testing and evaluation before pa siya i-sales, no. Sales is another story. All right? So another opportunities that we can land to or we can work design, no. So si design, pag design engineer ka, responsible for providing the detailed specifications of the product society uses, no. When design function is what many people think of when they think of engineering. Kana bang engineering mong course by ano, mag-drawing mo ana, no, mag layout mo ana og mga balay og mga buildings mga kuan, no. So not all engineers are designing or layouting or drawing structures, no. It's common to civil engineering, no. Some agricultural and biosystems are also doing that in construction of farm to market roads or farm structures. But it's a generic term when we say design engineers. Kaya nga naman dahil ng electronics, di ba din na sila mag-design? Asa man na mapurma ang cellphone kung wala nag-design? Asa man na mapurma ang motor kung wala nag-drawing, wala nag-design, no? Sa mechanical nga aspect. So everything that engineered ni agi og drawing or design, no? Then that's the difference of design and specification. Be kinsay makatubag. What's the difference between design and specification? So design, drawing, and specification. Kinsay makatubag? Who can answer me about design, the difference between design, drawing, and specifications? The three terms sa igalahian. Kyle, Pitaw, do you have idea? What's the difference between design, specifications, and drawing? Sir, si design o drawing pareho ra. Na si Kyle?
Hello sir, good morning sir. For sir, ang answer design kay mura siya kuan daw sir, ang murag blueprint pa sir.
Your own
or
understanding,
na
Kyle.
Dili pa final.
That's drawing. Drawing. Sige, how about specification?
Kuan sir,
Pareho
murag
man
nanay
sir.
specific nga kuan sir, unsa nga sukod murag na sir, unsa nga specific na nga dala sir. Sa ako pagsabot sir.
Okay. Unsay dimension? Okay. 1 point. Kung may design. Unsa pa ang design? Sa kalahian sa design o drawing. Sa kalahian sa design sir o drawing sir, pareho ra man na sir. Okay. Para di ta malangan, you take note of these words or terms and I will ask you on our next lecture. Okay. What's the difference or what's the meaning of this? Okay, take note. First, design. Next, drawing. Next term, technical specification. Okay? And next term, estimates or cost estimates. No? Upat, timani na, design, drawing, technical specifications, and then cost estimates. And I will ask randomly next time who can answer me the correct or the specific meaning of the four words. Kaya usually, mauna usually ang kalibugan sa mga engineers. Umingon ka design, lahi is drawing, lahi is technical specification, lahi is cost estimates. Again, design, drawing, technical specifications, and then cost estimates. Alright, so continue. Okay, so the design engineer is responsible for providing the detailed specifications of the product society uses. No, meaning, see, specification and design is different. No, so rather than being responsible for an entire product, most design engineers are responsible for a component or part of the product. Okay? So for example, kanang motorcycle, no, bag-o na pud nga brand, bag-o na pud nga unit sa motorcycle. Imbis nga si engineer ang responsible anang buo nga motorcycle, siya ang imong tan-on kung unsa gid na ang kanang workability ana unsa ang iyang performance and capacity or efficiency. Si engineer is focus siya for example sa isa ka sa makina lang, no? Dili lang siya sa kanang gasolinador, no? Dili lang siya sa karburador, mo na iyang focus, no? So that's for the design. Di man na niya maakupar nga tanan. So maybe in one company employing 20 engineers, o sige, you magsabot mo 20 ka buok, buhat tag bag-o nga unit or bag-o nga brand sa motorcycle, and then each one of them focus on one specific nga mga parts, no? Ako sa motor, ako sa manubela nga part, ako'y mag-layout, ako'y mag-design sa bag-o nga design. Ako diri sa makina, ako diri sa bangko, ako diri sa kuan, no? So di na niya makupar, no? Unless itagaan siyang 2 years para mag-design and then mag-specify, no? There's a huge difference between design and specification. Lahi gid ng design and specification, na lahi si design and specification. And I hope that you will research that, you will read that, and then differentiate that. Okay? The design engineer also must verify that the part meets the reliability and safety standards established for the product. The design engineer verifies the integrity of the product, no, not just the reliability. That's why kung magpalit og product, bisan pag rice cooker na imong paliton, bisan pag water heater na imong paliton, kung makabantay ka na agid na gitawag nga kanang basahon nimo. Say tawag na. Say tawag na. Kana magpalit kag product, nya na kay naipakapin nga murag notebook nga gamay nga 3
Manual,
to 5
sir.
pages. User's manual, no? Why? The user's manual is the final say or the final output draft based on research, development, testing, and evaluation, no? Dili ka kakitag product nga nagpalit ka rice cooker, nagpalit ka og kanang bag-o nga refrigerator, nagpalit ka og oven, di ka kakitag manual, no? Why? Ang manual necessary nga naghatag silang manual tungod kay guide nimo pag-operate, no? It also shows unsa ang iyang specification, no? Pila ang iyang voltahe, pila ang iyang maximum temperature, pila ang iyang kanang size or dimensions, pila capacity, etc. and etc. Based on, again, the research and development, testing and evaluation. Niagi na tanan. Okay? So I hope that it is clear with you. Okay. Another opportunities that we can be fit of, pwede ta marabaho, is analysis, which is I already mentioned ganina katong sa result evaluation. So, analysis na dayon na. Pag nanay data, analysis na dayon. But mostly, analysis engineers use mathematical models and computational tools to provide the necessary information to design, develop, or conduct research, and to help them perform their function. No? Analysis engineers typically are specialists in a technology area important to the products or services being produced. Technical areas might include the heat transfer, fluid flow, vibration, dynamics, system modeling, and acoustics, and among others. No, an example of the role of analysts or analysis in the prediction of temperatures in an aircraft engine. Kani, ngan mahitabo. Okay, sir, ang akong proposal, sir, kay gusto ko, sir, mag-design ko, sir, og gusto ko, sir, og mag-design ko og machine, sir, nga muhagbat sa kamunggay. Okay, now, before you can design machine to deleaf kamunggay, tanggalon ng iyang kanang dahon, make sure that you have a concrete review of related studies. When we say concrete of related studies, somehow, magbasa kag mga articles nga related sa deleafing. No? For example, pagtanggal sa dahon sa kanang lahi nga product or lahi nga mga tanom. masahon nimo kung unsa iyang function, i-analyze nimo unsa sa gid ang ilang mga specification and functions para pwede nimo ma-apply para sa imong new nga design, no? So you have to analyze, you have to collect data or gather data or references before you can do your own design for your particular product, no? Dili na pwede nga diretso-diretso ra ka. Somehow you also need to study the characteristics of kamunggay, no? Imo sang basahon sa di ang properties ni kamunggay. Dali ra ba siya ma-dry, dali ra ba siya matanggal sa iyang pungango, whatever and whatever, no? Because you need to analyze first, you need to establish data first or references before you can design your own, no? So that's the role of analysis engineers, no? Kung si Honda, they are already releasing new motorcycle brand, oh somehow si Suzuki, no, the team of engineers of Suzuki are also tasked to sige release po tagato nga similar ana, no? So pwede nga we need to establish first what's the gap in between sa ilang release, no? And then we will study that and then we will produce our own, no? Dili kay magdiretso na lang kag produce og product, wala ka niagi og research, development, testing and evaluation or analysis, no? So lahi-lahi na sila nga functions. If we are working in a particular company, in a particular kanang plant or shall we say electronics or mechanical nga mga companies, dili na pwede nga ang imong trabaho pang analysis, gipatrabaho pud ka diri sa kanang research and development, no? Unless if you are working on a project or in the academe, isahon na natanan. Pero sa mga dagko nga mga firms or companies, lahi gid si mga design engineers, lahi sila ni mga analysis or mga testing and evaluation nga engineers, lahi pud tong sa sales, lahi ang sa production. Okay, so that's the difference. And I hope that you are clear with the different functions nga akong gina-mention ganina. Lahi sila ni analysis. The next one is another opportunity that pwede po nato masudlan as engineers. Systems, no? When we say systems engineers work with the overall design, development, manufacture, and operation of a complete system or product. Okay. Sir, meaning sa system is master of all the things that you have mentioned a while ago. No, I'm not telling you, it doesn't mean nga system engineers ka, ikaw na mag-ako tanan, gikan sa research and development, testing, analysis, and evaluation. No. What it means is that kung moingon kag system engineers, kanang mga system engineers, mao na sila ang kanang murag after production engineers. Example, na-produce na si product, no? Na anay nabuhat nga mga rice cooker 1,000 ka buok, okay? Kamo na din na mag-monitor ana murag post-production na bali mo, no? Mao na mga systems engineers. Whatever nga glitches or mga problems along the way after sa production, kamo na mag-monitor, i-record or kung naay maintenance or repair, pwede impossible. So but all the output from research, design, analysis, research and development, testing and evaluation, and then produce, dihan na mo sulod si system engineers, no? That's why moingon dayon nga kinsay inyong in charge diri na pwede mapangutana. Okay, kana siya ma'am, mao na siya ang among kuan. Moadto kag mga dago nga mga hardwares or mga dago nga mga electrical companies, kinsay ato mapangutana ani kani ma'am si engineer kuan, siya ay nakabaluan na. Doesn't mean nga si engineer ang nagbuhat, siya ay nag-design, siya ay nag-layout. No. He or she also only knows the process or the specifications of that particular product. And then kung may mga failure or mga glitches, kabalo siya manubag, no? Technically, na mao ni ma'am na ingana na siya ma'am tungod kay ingana ang iyang size tungod kay ingana pud ang iyang capacity, no? He or she is trained for the overall system of the product. Dili kay siya nagbuhat from being research and ingani. So design engineers are involved in the design of individual components, but systems engineers are responsible for the integration of the components and systems into a functioning product, no? So si design engineers is purely design lang yun, no? What's the specification and whatever the things nga atong gi-design ani unsa iyang function. Pero si systems engineers kabalo gid siya sa all kuan nga okay, kung di nimo butangag tubil, dili ka makapadagan, no? Kung dili nimo siya bulihag battery, dili siya musiga. So mao na iyang training ni system engineers. It's the all-out system, no, ang iyang nahibalaan. But doesn't mean again nga siya gyud nagbuhat, no? As I have mentioned, lahi si design, lahi si testing engineers, lahi si evaluation engineers, and lahi si analysis engineers. Okay? So si system engineers ang kabuuan, aware siya, trained siya, but not necessary nga siya gyud ang nagkuan. That's why kana bitang mamaligya computer, mga computer shop nga dagko. Na mga computer engineers ana ang gipang hire because computer engineers know the overall aspect or the overall knowledge about computers. Like kayo no, ang i-hire ni mo diha kay kanang mga graduate sa education. Unless if ang purpose is mag-educate unsa all about ang computer. No, so he or she knows the entire process and the development but not necessary nga siya ang nagbuhat. So that's system engineers. Another is manufacturing and construction. No, so manufacturing and construction, manufacturing engineers turn the specifications of the design engineer into a tangible reality. They develop processes to make the products we use every day. They work with diverse teams of individuals, from technicians on the assembly lines to management, in order to maintain the integrity and efficiency of the manufacturing process. If all set na, natanan, okay, go signal na design, okay na, based sa data, okay na testing, evaluation, and analysis, overall system, tanan, assuming nga nata sa isang company ha, nga composed of five divisions, one department is for the design, one department is for the testing and evaluation, one department is for the production, and one department is for the overall manufacture and construction. So, go signal na, step by step process, okay na, okay, go. So, kani nga division or department sila na po ang overall nga take care sa tangible nga product, no? Sila na ang nakabalo nga pila tong i-produce, pila capacity pud sa atong production, no? That's manufacturing and construction. So, dalahi po tong construction company nga kanang naay mga construction like kalsada, tulay, no, buildings, no. But the same concept, no. Diba sa isa ka construction company di man na pwede nga ang engineer nimo sa design mao pod ang imong engineer dito sa field, no. Somehow ila na nang gina-utilize pero kung buto na naon sa office diha ang planning, no. Naa dito ang design and planning, naa dito ang equipment and supply, naa po dito ang mga field workers or field engineers, and then naa po another team for the laborers or kanang gitawag natong foreman or kanang monitoring engineers, no. So lahi-lahi na sila nga division. Dili pwede nga isahon nimo na tanan, no. Kung magtrabaho na si Perez dito sa Department of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering Division, dili pwede nga siya tanang division magtrabaho. Lahi ang sa planning, lahi ang sa mga machinery, lahi ang sa mga monitoring and evaluation, lahi ang sa mga training and assessment sa mga farmers. Okay? So we have different aspects or areas on a particular opportunities. Okay? So manufacturing engineers must be able to work with diverse teams of people, including design engineers, trade workers, and management. No? Kaya as I have mentioned, di gid na pwede nga isahon nimo, ako nimo, bisan paglima mo, i-divide gid ng trabaho. Lahi ang mag-design, lahi ang mag-monitor, lahi ang mag-implement, lahi ang magkuan sa mga equipment at tauhan. No? So it's the job nga diverse. Another opportunity that we can land on or we can work is we call that operations and maintenance. No, so operations and maintenance, sumpay siya sa manufacturing or production. Sila na itong gitawag na itong after sales. No, kana bang pagpalit nimo og sakyanan dito sa known company, if you could observe, na sila iharag ng mga contact numbers, online kontakon nimo sir, kay natay warranty after how many months or years, including ba na sa among warranty sir. Tawagon nimo ni siya kay mo ni siya ang among technician, no. Mo ni ang among mekaniko, no. So we have that operations and maintenance. If in a company or in a career opportunities, we are also hired for that. Why? Because we are known that we are technically and scientifically knowledgeable when it comes to products, no. Ang ABE niya ang product nga gipang-produce kay mga machinery and tractors, though wala dili kita nagbuhat pero we know the functions, no. Kanus ata makabalo nga ing ani diyang operation, no. Kanus ata mag-change sa iyang mga kanang pisa, no, ingana. So we are trained for that, and then we know how it functions, no. That's why engineers are also hired as employees or workers in the main operations and maintenance, no. Kay lisod mong kaayo kung technical ba yan mga scientific kunya ang imong i-hire is kadtong lahi nga mga field of specialization. So mostly engineers. Di man ka-relate ang medicine nursing kita raman, no. Yeah. Ngano kita man i-hire sa di man kita nabuhat sa product. Though we are not the ones doing the product or producing the product. But when we are trained, kung i-train ka sa iyang functions, mas dali ta makarelate because we are in the engineering aspect, no? I-train lang ka unsa ini all about nga machine, ikaw na din ang i-assign sa maintenance and operations or after sales nga product, makahatag na din ka sa ilang mga inputs, no, sa mga clients because it's easier for us to learn than the other fields, no? Kaya sa basic pa lang daan sa theories, we already thought, no? Sa physics pa lang daan nato, kabalo na ta sa mga basic na mga theories behind. So operations and maintenance. And ginaingon diri, large medical facilities and other service sector business require operations or maintenance engineers to oversee the operation of their equipment. I know one engineer who is now my colleague. He has been working in the Saudi Arabia for almost 5 years, 6 years, duha ka kontrata, 3 years, as biomedical engineer, no? He is a graduate of electronics engineers in the Philippines, but he was working in Saudi Arabia as biomedical engineers, no? Unsa biomedical engineer, unsa iyang trabaho dito, sir? So sa hospital, siya ang tig kuan sa mga maintenance and operations sa mga machine, like for example kanang mga incubator, pag madaot maulangag mga ingani, mga kuan, siya ang tig repair o maintain sa iyang kuan. Siya po'y ginasaligan sa engineering division sa hospital nga mag-procure og mga gamit nga mga biomedical na equipment because doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals are not studying, wala nila kabalo sa saan siya mag-maintain, saan mag-operate, kailangan ibalan mo yung purpose. So that's why nowadays we already have medical technologists, because medical technologists are also working on the equipments, instruments, or lab instruments nga makakuha sila data or magamit nila sa kanang medical na aspect, no? But the biomedical engineers are really needed in the medical field, no? That's why na natin mga biomedical engineers nowadays. And then they are working as operation and maintenance engineers, no? So daghan kay tagkasudlan kung buto na hunaon. All right. Another opportunities that we can work as that engineer is we call that technical support, no? So technical support is quite similar with after sales or maintenance and operations. Pero sa technical support, guys, medyo lahi siya, no? Ano man, it's in conjunction with design, development, and research. When we say technical support engineer, it serves as the link between customer and product and assist with installation and setup, no? So, example, you are now buying a particular product, mayroon dahil na sila nga, ma'am, free setup ni ma'am, free delivery, and then free setup. And then the company will bring together with you, kung mauli na ka sa balay, dala na ni mga product, magdala din na sila duha tutulog ka mga tauhan, no? And then nakataktik sila nga naong o kanang aura attire, and then mag-install sa inyo, no? So nowadays, like for example, telecommunication company, no, nag-offer na sila mga free setup and support nga kuan sa ilang mga facilities. Pataon nimo dito example water district or electrical company, di man na pwede nga ikaw rin taon from the main source going to your house, no? Di man na pwede. So there are technical persons or engineers hired to do that, no? Unless if scarce silang tao, posibleng mga hire silang laborers or kanang mga high school graduate, college level, and then i-train po na sa mga engineers o sa ilang mga technician. Na mauna po na sila ang nagabuhat ana. But majority, basically, it's engineers or professional engineers doing the job, no? I-hire na din ang ubang tao para dili na po ingon nga. Example, in one city, kaya na 20 ka engineers sa kanang district, water district? No. Sa kanang electrical company or kanang cooperative, di na makaya bisag 50 ka engineer lang. Then they will train technicians or people na masisa or mo na yung trabaho. But the knowledge, technical and scientific knowledge is for engineers, no? So it's not being divisive nga saglit kay wala sila, di sila mga engineer, di po sila acknowledge because basically they are trained by professional engineers, no? Na-learn po na nila. But there are instances nga kita po naka-learn sa mga laborers, mga foreman, no? Mas daghan sila knowledge sa ato. Okay? For large industrial purchases, technical support may be included in the purchase price. The engineer may visit the installation site and oversee a successful startup. For example, a new power station for irrigation might require that the technical support engineer supervises the installation and helps the customer solve problems to get the product operational. Okay, madto ko sa kuan, isa ka company kay magpalit ko kuan kanang pag-irrigation akong setup, sa package sa irrigation. I will go to a agricultural machinery shop. Mao dito interview ka, ma'am, kaya yung basa sa ilang basakan pag CI sa dito no. Sorbiha sa iyang basakan kung unsa gid ang maayon nato nga irrigations type or unsa nga klase sa irrigation atong itaod or unsa nga mga products or unsa nga mga machines ang atong i-suggest sa iya. So after the CI done by as an agriculture and biosystems engineer. Okay, sir, ang kinahanglan diyan niya dito sir mao ni kay kulangan dapat 10 HP nga diesel engine and then dapat ingani ang mga diameter kay layo dai sa pangpang ang iyang kuan sir. So that's the job of technical support engineer. Alright? So that's just an example, no? Sa mga telco, no, kabantay ka magpataod ang isa ka telco diri og tower, no? Before gid na tauran, nasa gid na survey nga mahitabo dito and then the technical support engineers are doing the preliminary surveys, interviews, no? And then for example, unsay mga usually nga mga hitabo diri nabay mga baha, nabay ginalinog man diri, etc. Okay, so that's the technical support engineers. And some also technical support engineers are doing the job of after sales or maintenance engineers. Sila na po ang nagabuhat ana. Depende na sa company if daghan sila tao, if wala usually kuana na sila mag-overlap na ilang mga trabaho. It's not now being kana divided na nga. Okay, kamo dito sa after sales, kami diri sa production, kami diri sa design, no. Usually tawagon ikaw expert man kani o na lang, no. So it depends on the way of the company how they run their business, no, or even the agencies. Even in the government, no, example, you are hired as civil engineer, somehow gihimo na pud ka nga field worker or gihimo na pud ka nga kanang kuan admin support, no. Depende gid na siya sa depende na siya sa pamalakad or depende na siya sa kakulangon or kadaghanon sa mga employees, no. But the most important thing is we know that we are scientifically and technically trained, no? That's why maningkamot ta sa atong engineering life nga dili gid ta magnganga when we are working or magnegosyo ta, di kay pangutanon ta di naman lang gani ta katubag, di pag kita kabalo at ta naminaw sa una atong klase. Okay, so I hope that it's an inspiration for us to really learn and to really engage in scientific and technical conversations. Like ani, aminaw gyud kay para when we work or when we graduate engineering, na kita mga basic background. Another opportunity that we can be atong sales, no? Katong ingon ako nga kana bilang mga sales rep. So I know one or two bayaws who are working in the sales. For example, isa ka agri-machinery nga store, no. So gi-hire siya, duha sila, pareho sila agriculture and biosystems engineers, gi-hire sila, and then isa ka mechanical engineer di tulo sila, which were my batch na ko sila. So tulo sila gi-hire, duha ka ABE and then one ka mechanical. Unsay purpose nila nga gi-hire sila? Dili ingon kay gi-hire sila kay para mag-drawing sila didto or mag-design sila og mga new mga machines. No, na sila sa sales, no. So na sila nga display nga dagko nga tractor, dagko nga transplanter, dagko kayo nga ma-harvester or whatever. So ang ilang buhaton is pag naay mga customers, particularly mga farmers or cooperatives, sila nagatubag. Okay nga. Sir, mao ni ang specifications sa atong combine harvester, mao ni ang iyang capacity, mao ni ang iyang efficiency, mao ni ang iyang kuan sir, mga dos and don'ts, mao ni siya sir ang mao ni ang mga kanang iyang mga mechanical parts, mao ni. So they are doing the sales and then somehow it will also be a factor sa sales. Dili lang tungod kay engineer ka, technically and scientifically, kabalo ka sa iyang itong giingon ako ganina nga system. Also, the business aspect or the strategies. So dapat kabalo ka, no? That's why in our curriculum we have that like entrepreneurship, no? Tudluan pud ta how to become technopreneurs or technopreneurship engineers, no? Kay dili man pwede nga we already all know the system. Kaya na namo na boss, kami na bahala boss magkuan para daghan tag customers. Pangutan-on ka unsa may mga economic nga mga advantage ani, no? Unsa man ang iyang mga return period ani, mga unsa man ang akong mga payback period ani, di nakakatubag because you have not wa ka nagtarong sa imong engineering economics o sa imong technopreneurship 101 for engineers, no. So tandion pod as working in the sales, you must have a background, both the technical and scientific, when in terms to machinery and mechanization, as well as systems engineering, but also in the sales aspect, katong business ng aspect or entrepreneurial ng aspect, no? So most engineers are daghan kong nailhan and then they are hired, and then sa kana nga year nakahalin sila na pulo kay ani, and then their boss will give them 50,000 for that particular quota. No, okay, tagaan na mo tag 50,000 kay nakahalin taging ani. So that's your strategy as a professional engineer. Okay, nakahalin po taging ani nga product, tagaan ta mo tag 20,000. So at the end of the year, naka-bonus kag 300,000. So you are working in the sales. And then ang mga engineers ra bagyud kay nindot gid i-hire sa sales tungod kay both, no, na murag jack of all trades ta nga, technical, scientific kabaluta, functions, operations kabaluta, and economics, technopreneurship kabaluta, even how we handle customers. We know that, no? Okay. Usually sa college pa, you are trained to report, mag-reporting, no, mag-debate mo unsa ingana. So when you are working, you have the basic backgrounds or the knowledge as sales representative or sales engineer. Okay? So dili kay ingon nga ay naman siya nagtrabaho diha, oh ano na siya ba? Sulugoon na, no. You do not know. Do not judge. Because mas dako pa na siya og sweldo sa imo nga nindot kag trabaho kay engineer gid ka, siya sales. Mas dako pa siya og sweldo sa imo, no? Kay grabe ang ilang quota, grabe sila halin, no? So lahi-lahi tag sudlan, no? Dili pwede nga i-judge nimo siya kay nagtrabaho siya dito sa field work, siya nagtrabaho dito assistant sa engineer, siya nagtrabaho sa sales, siya nagtrabaho sa kanang call center, no? So lahi-lahi tag masudlan as engineers, not just engineering regular nga aspeto. The other one is consultation or consulting. Ng mga consulting firms, kabantay mo, engineer, MAPA, needs, you may contact Engineer Pitao for your coads. Mga consultancy, usually ang kanang nasa consultancy, they are self-employed or they are working for a firm. No? For example, Sanchez consultancy firm. So meaning duhay ka involved na, ako is more on consultation sa mga machineries. The other one maybe consultancy sa related sa mga farms, no, sa mga production sa farms, no. So consultancy. But dili pwede nga dili man sa ingon sa dili pwede, but it's rare nga ang bagong graduate mo sulod og consultancy. Kung dapat kung mosulod kag consultancy, at least na nakay 10 to 20 years nga experience or professional engineer experience. Example, mo graduate kag 2000, dapat 2020 na pud ka mag-consultant. Dili kay mag-ulang kay kani graduate nag-consultant na ka, wala pa kay knowledge. So at least 10 to 20 years nga professional engineer experience, and then you have earned at least master's degree or doctor of engineering or PhD in ABE, and you have a lot of experiences teaching, research, development, publication, paper presentation, field works, design, construction. Mas diha na ka mas maayo nga mag-consultant, no, kung wide or broaden na ang imong knowledge as professional engineer. Isod pud gayo nga bago pa lang ka ni graduate, mag-consultant na medyo wala pa kay strong na background or foundation, no. So most consultant or consultant engineers are at least kanang mga retired na, retirable, no, 20, 30 years ng job experience and so on. Okay? So, but it's another opportunity. Some also employed in the government, and then ang ilang Saturday, Sunday, consultant sila. So, pwede po na siya. Such firms provide technical expertise to organizations, no? Though many large companies do not have technical experts or staff in all areas of operation. Instead, they use consultants to handle issues in those technical areas, no? So consulting engineers also might be asked to evaluate the effectiveness of an organization and so on, no? Other companies mag-hire og mga consultant para tabangan sila nga ma-plaster ang ilang mga plans, no? Ma-plaster ang ilang mga objectives sa ilang company, no? Ang ilang mga design, ang ilang mga layout, no? Products na ilang i-develop. Ingana pod ginahire pod ang mga consultants ana. Okay? So I guess this is the last one, management. So when we say management, pwede po nga, for example, there are 20 agricultural and biosystems engineers in that particular company, and then must be one nga magdala sa anak nila then you're hired as a manager, you're hired as a supervisor. So but it's very rare usually. And then usually po dapat taas-taas po ang imong background, experience, ang imong performance, dili kay unless if kanang ginatawag na tog pasipsip, no, 3 years pa lang gani siya, nahimo na siya nga kanang head of department, wala man lang gani siya experience sa kani nga field, wala man lang gani siya nahibal-an, no. So majority po taas-taas ang background, training, research, experience, and etc. para mahimo siyang manager or mahimo siyang head sa kana nga department or kana with the same nga mga professionals, no. Example, the same or similar or allied professionals, no. Unless if kana nga company is diverse ang ilang mga field of specializations, pero majority ikaw ang head ng department tungod kay pareho mo og field, and then you are composed of 3 to 10 or 5 nga mga members. So for example, sa among department, so I'm leading the department as head, and then I'm managing the department, I'm supervising the department, monitoring all the projects, teaching, instruction, student affairs, and etc. in the department, no. So we can also be working like that, no. We can also work in that particular opportunity. Okay. The next one is global and international nato nga mga opportunities, no. Automobile industry, no, kanang mga automobile, when the Henry Ford invented and then developed tractors, ang karon nowadays engineering students are being aware of that, no, nga naagitay automobile industry nga pwede nato masudlan, no. Naputay manufacturing akong na-mention ganina, similar na siya. And then construction industry, no. So sa construction industry, mostly civil engineers, naay mga mechanical, naay mga structural engineers, naay mga ADE pero rare lang yun na siya, no. So engineers should have ample opportunities to compete for many exciting global projects that will require a unique understanding of foreign culture. So whether naka sa Pilipinas or abroad, you can be working in the manufacturing, automobile, and construction. Another nga pwede po kung nasa abroad, pharmaceutical, no? Mga pharmaceutical products, dili man na ingon nga mga pharmacist ang nag-develop lang. Dili naman na mga doctors lang, nanay mga engineers, no? Engineers are doing the things in engineering the product, no? So those considering career in this industry, there are many favorable conditions that should create. I know one, na siya karon sa Hawaii, and then he is working on a pharmaceutical company. No, he is a bayaw. No, so a lot of things or a lot of opportunities na pwede nato masudlan depende lang gyud sa atong passion, no. So for us engineering students, for you engineering students, pharmaceutical industry is also fit for us, no. Labi na kita kay nata sa agricultural and biosystems. Food industry, no, are you familiar with the one in the picture? So in the food industry, particularly us, we have backgrounds in food engineering or process engineering. We are also hard in the food industry. Kung abroad ta, no, gamit gid ta sa food industry. Sama na nagani mo yung mga seniors or mga bayaws nga naa na karon sa abroad, no, nanay sa Norway, nanay sa kuan. They are working in the production and the food industries. No, na sila karon 1 year ang ilang contract. So because our expertise and our field of specializations is very very needed in the food industry and production, no. Grabe kagamit, no, because we are trained in terms of machinery, technology, food engineering, process engineering, and even soil and land and water, and then that's the things nga necessary for the food production and food engineering, no. So because every day we are dealing with foods, no, halos kada oras, kada 5 hours mga unta, no, we need to eat, we need to survive, no. So as long as that people will still eat, no, ang tun nga mukaon ayaw kabala ka na kay trabaho sa umaabot, no. So ay kabala ka hangtod nga mukaon pa ta ang tao, even hayop on etc. mukaon, ang EBE graduate na ginay trabaho sa umaabot na panahon, no. Engineers entering this industry will find many interesting and challenging opportunities. All right, napa mo diha? Kyle, are you still there?
Yes.
All right. I hope that you are engaged with my presentation, ha, Aminaw. And the increasing demand and price structures of recent years have made an engineering career in this field, in the petroleum industry. Actually, guys, the highest paid opportunity or career in the entire world sa mga engineers and scientists is in the petroleum. Walay makalalisan na, no. I have one classmate before when I took my masters in Malaysia. Filipino sila. magsuon sila tulo, and then their father is working in Kuwait as petroleum engineers, and all of them three nag-eskwela abroad. Siya sa Malaysia, ang iyang isa ka kuya nag-eskwela sa US, ang iyang isa ka kuya niya nag-eskwela sa Singapore ba or Thailand. And then ang ilang papa is petroleum engineer. And I asked him, if you don't mind, may I ask if your father can afford the three of you work studying, all of you studying in a different country? Yes. And then it's even too much because a petroleum engineer is grabe ka kuan ang trabaho, kuti, grabe ka lisod, but if you are doing that for many years, mura na lang nagsinsilyo sa imong trabaho, no? I have no specific details on the petroleum industry, but what I only know is it is one, no? If it's not the top, if it's one of the top 3 highest industry nga ginasweldohan ng mga employees, no? You cannot argue with mo, kaya mabasihan man ninyo, di ba? Mamalit na gasolina, always mahal, mga kuan. So, grabe siya nga industry. But, dili basta-basta masudlan unless wala kay background. Even in the Philippines, wala petroleum engineering. I only know one, I guess in Singapore, there's petroleum engineering, and then European countries na dayon, and the US. Okay, so, grabe siya nga job, career nga pwede na ito masudlan. Highly paid. Chemical processing industry, we can also work in the chemical processing industry. Chemical processing industry is kanang mga, for example, kanang not necessary yun ha, kanang mga chemical products lang yun, no? Even pharmaceutical, nagasulod na po na silang chemical. Excuse me. And food product development, they are working on the chemicals as well, no? So, kanang mga admixtures, so we can also work, mga planta, no? Diha makasulod punta. Okay. So, while these firms often are not involved in the actual production of the end product, they are responsible for the key ingredients that are used by a wide range of other industries, no? Okay? So, biotechnology, composite material, pharmaceutical, films, fibers, chemicals, plastics. Makabantay lang ka sa terms, natay mga subjects ani, okay? Biotechnology, no? Nataan na sa atong sustainable nga kanang plant and livestock, no? Fibers and films, plastics, na siya sa atong materials and methods, and then chemicals, and then composites na sa materials properties. Okay, so kita mismo as AE, we can also work in this particular industry if we want to work abroad, no? But I do not encourage you to work abroad. I encourage you to work in the Philippines kay mas gamit ta diri. Gamin na atong agricultural sector is medyo kuam kayo karon, no? Di pa kaya siya upgraded, downgraded ba ta? Okay? Computer and electronics, I also mentioned to you ganina, no, nga when we say electronics company, so it's quite similar with the computer electronics, no? So we can also work with that if gusto gid kag programming, no? I even know one chemical engineer, imbis kay chemical engineer siya, he is now working in the computer and IT nga industry. Mas ganahan man gid siya, na di man mo siya ipugos didto man gid ang iyang line of specializations. Ang expertise niya, I mean ang iyang background is chemical engineering. Chemical engineer siya, no? Murag top notcher pag siya sa board. But when he was starting working na sa isa ka company or isa ka industry, mas na-realize niya nga mas ganahan siya computer and electronics nga industry or field. So nag-master siya related to computer and electronics, and then karon he is now employed as chemical and computer technician, no? So you cannot force that. Makasulod gihapon ta despite nga ingani ang atong background, educational background. Telecommunications, I already mentioned to you, since the world is being revisionalized by telecommunications, no? So we can also work with that. I did not know one ABE nga nag-work sa telecommunications, but I know one ABE working in the communication, electronics company. Okay. And so on and other nga kuan. This one, environmental industry, we can work with this in industry, no? Kanabang ginahire ka sa research program or research project, consultant ka or researcher ka, field worker ka, because we have basic, but not just basic, we have enough background or ample background when it comes to environmental engineering, environmental factors, and environmental management, no? So we can still work in the environmental industry as ABEs. Depende na sa inkuan. I even know some nga major sila o environmental management sa ilang masters as ABE. because they are really interested in the environmental engineering nga kuan. I even also know 2 or 3 ABEs nga engineer 3 and engineer 4 na sila sa isa ka department or agency sa government sa environmental management nga sa mga plants and mga companies, and by expertise ABE sila, no, but they are working on the environmental aspects. We can still work on that particular industry. All right, now let's talk with salaries. Sir, pila di ay ang sweldo nato, sir, if we are full-fledged engineer? So accordingly, the average salary for engineer is 25,000 per month in the Philippines. Salaries estimates are based on 384 salaries submitted anonymously to Glassdoor. No, Glassdoor is like a website or a site which estimates salaries and job opportunities and etc. I don't know if this is a very reliable, but it is the top list that I have found in the internet. But don't mind if this is really not the good source in the internet, but it's estimatedly ingana gyud 25,000, no, fresh grad mo sweldo gid na 20,000 to 30,000 kung bago pa lang ka nag-graduate. Okay, let's talk deeper. So the average salary of engineer in the Philippines, salaries of engineering graduates consistently have been among the highest for all college graduates over the past several decades. To some extent, this has been due to the shortage of engineering candidates to fill available jobs. Okay, it's real. Why? Kung first year mo, sa dili pang hulga, sa dili pang pressure, kung first year mo, 60 mo kabuok, I tell you, ang graduate ana na pulo or 20. Okay? And then the world needs at least how many numbers of engineers per year? Okay? Proven. During our time, first year me, 64. Pag third year na mo, 20 na lang mi kapin. Pag fourth year na mo, 18. Pag fifth year gid na mo, 4 na lang mi, ang duha wala ka graduate kay na behind nga subject. Duha mi on time na graduate for 5 years. So out of 64 on our batch, duha lang mi ang graduate on time. Now, if the Philippines needs that year, if Caraga region that year needs at least 70 or 100 ABEs, duha ra mi. That's the tendency nga mas taas ang iyang rate kay tungod sa kakulangon, and then daghay need, but walay resources, walay graduates, no? So medyo magkataas ya. Now I beg, I don't agree with 25,000, because if you are really expert on that particular field, you can be offered like more than 30,000. But if kana nga field daghan mo, siguro sa tama 25,000, just an average, dili man pud siya specific, or dili man gid siya gyud ingon nga mao gid ang atong basihan, no? Averaging ra man pud tong iyang gihatag, no? By average in the Philippines. Kay lahi ba ang sa Luzon, Mindanao, and then Visayas nga rates? Siguro by average, Mindanao, Philippines, and then Visayas, Philippines, and then Luzon, Philippines, 25,000. Okay? So tungod ana na scarcity, but gihatag po sa Glassdoor, ni Glassdoor nga na seniority levels daw. Kung level 2 engineer ka, or shall we say junior ka engineer, din na kay 25,000 per month, no? Average ha, I'm talking about average, not necessary nga ogid na ang sweldo. Level 3 senior engineer na 43,000, no? Taas na. Kung level 4 or engineer leader or supervisor, na naka sa mga 73,000 to 100,000 per month. So it's quite a good salary rate, no? Ayaw po pag-expect nga pag-graduate nimong engineering mo sweldo din kag 50,000, no? Unless if ang imong trabaho is dala panikas, no? But if you are honest to goodness nga employee, ayaw po pag-expect og nga nakataas. But in research guys, even if you are a new graduate, you can be paid higher than 30,000 per month, okay? In the other source, salaryexplorer.com, I also found that the average monthly salary of engineers in the Philippines is 37,600 or 452,000 yearly. So medyo taas siya, okay? Pero ang gibasihan nila ani is kung naakay mga additional pa nga mga kanang si tawag ani backgrounds. Dili lang yung graduate kag engineering. For example, top notcher, no, cum laude, you earn masters, you are a PhD holder. So napod sila diha nga study nagbasihan, no? So kung low 11,000 lang, grabe ka baba. Average 37 and then ang high 79. So a person working in engineering in the Philippines typically earns around 37,000 per month, which I agree, pwede, no? Salaries range from 11,900 to 79,600 and the actual maximum salary is higher, no? So do not expect nga mo graduate mo by 2025 sa mga year mo graduate or 2026 siguro nagtaas na din ito ang sweldo, but do not kanang settle only on the salary, kanang ayaw bahalag gamay sweldo basta kay nalingaw ka ug nang-enjoy ka, kaysa naman 50,000 imong sweldo pero kada adlaw tapulan ka mo duty or tapulan ka magtrabaho, no? And then I strongly suggest nga mag-business, no? Kay kung walay business, ang salary ra pod medyo kuan siya, hanging. Okay. Another, and we still have at least 15 minutes, hapit na kumahuman. This is actually the government-based or the government rate, no? Are you still there? Naminaw pa mo? Nagdali-dali magud ko. Napa mo diha? Salva?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
In the government rate, I hope that you still enjoy my presentation, ha. In the government rate, napud tay gitawag nga government rate, namang gud tay private and then government firms or government agencies and the private firms. So tong ganina, posible sa private to nga rate, no. This one, I got my reference from Civil Service Commission. The Civil Service Commission is the sole constitutional body of the Philippines which regulates or mandates related to service, no, or jobs or works or positions in the governments, no. Sila gid ang nagamonitor pila na sweldo, pila dapat ang imong qualification, pila ang imong rate sa kana nga region, ano ang imong qualification and etc. Together with the Department of Labor and Employment. So let's base with the government rate kung pila pud ay posible, no. So the Department of Agriculture through civil service at through Secretary Emmanuel Piñol before, nagpropose sila nga dapat ang agricultural and biosystems engineers in the Philippines na nagid siya qualification standards, salary standards and rate, no. So gipropose, and then the Civil Service Commission through Civil Service Resolution number 100759 series of 2019 bago lang 2 years ago ni approve, and then naghatag silang memorandum for the qualification standards of agricultural and biosystems engineers in the different agencies of the government in the Philippines. So na sila gihatag nga standards. Unsay gihibutang sa Civil Service Commission? An engineer 1 must have a salary grade of 12. An engineer 2 must have a salary grade of 16. And an engineer 3 must have a salary grade of 19. Engineer 4 salary grade 22, and then engineer 5 salary grade 24. Unsa ang salary grade, sir? Ang salary grade is it's the level of positions in the government. For example, kung ang imong salary grade is 1, usually ka ng mga utility worker, ng mga permanent employees. Salary grade 3 or 4 ka ng mga drivers. Salary grade 5 kay ka ng mga technician. Salary grade 8, 9 kay ka ng mga assistants, no? And then 10 pataas, I guess, is mga professionals na sila or college graduates. Okay. So si salary grade 12, engineer 1, medyo hayahay na, ha? Okay. But there's a corresponding education, experience, and training and eligibility requirement, no? Before pud ka ma-hire as engineer 1, dili ka pwede nga graduate lang. Dapat eligibility RA 1080 or the law which mandates that all government positions in permanent positions must hire second level eligibility passers of corresponding national licensure examinations, no. Since kay engineer 1 ABE man, then ABE nga board exam ang required. Now, if you are really planning to work in the government in the near future, you need to target to graduate and to pass the board. Otherwise, you cannot be employed as permanent employee in the government. Okay? So that's the challenge now. If you are planning, if you are dreaming of working as engineer in the government, and bisag asa ka nga agency, kung engineer ka, posible nga tagaan kag position nga dili pang engineer, pero kung naagid ka sa field sa engineer sa EBE, DA, DAR, etc., no, fisheries or whatever, engineer na pang EBE ang imong position, but you need to have a license. Okay, tanaw na to later. According to the resolution that I have mentioned in the previous slides, no. So the previous slide said that in compliance also with the RA 10915, also known as the Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering Law or Act of 2016, dapat mao daw ni ang salary sa ABE. And then as of, unsa man ni siya? As of 2021, no? The salary rate under Republic Act 11466 or the Salary Standardization Law 5 for the year 2021, including acapera or the employees relief allowance and etc. Dapat ang engineer 1 daw na siya sweldo nga tag 28,052. Engineer 2 na siya sweldo nga 38,628. Engineer 3 na siya 50,000. Engineer 4 na siya 70,000. Engineer 5 na siya 88,000. If you are employed with a permanent position in the government as ABE. Okay? But mo lagi na dapat na kay license. If you have no license, then you cannot have that particular positions. But that's 2021 ha. And then in the government every year naga-increase, no? I don't know if some of your parents or friends or relatives or siblings are working in the government. Every year it's working. But I'm not presenting you this one to encourage you to really work on the government. I even encourage you to have a business. I am encouraging you to be an entrepreneur. I'm encouraging you to work other kuan than in the government. But I'm just presenting based on the government na rate. Kay mas reliable man gud ang government, guys. Kay it's standard. Okay? If working as engineer. Now, let's try let's see unsa poy rate ni government kung magtudlo ka, no? Di ba? Ang uban kay sir scholar magud mi sa DOST sir, kinahanglan daw mi magtudlo sir at least 3 years, 5 years. Sir, gusto gid ko magtudlo sa college. Gusto gid ko mahimong instructor sir kay na-encourage mo ko sa imo sir kay murag nindot man gid magtudlo bisag kapoy, no? So let's see how teachers or engineers in the academe are being paid by the government. All right. Per National Budget Circulation 461 since 1998, it was issued and established to prescribe rules and regulations governing the implementation of the revised compensation and position classification plan for faculty or faculty positions or kanang instructors and professors in the state universities and colleges and TESDA schools. Okay. Kung nari kay instructor 1, 2, and 3, and then taman sa instructor 1 to 3, pwede ra ka makatrabaho bisag earned kag bachelor's degree, and then dapat license ABE, and then you can be you can earn at most 28,000 per year. 2021 pa na. Nasa inyo nga time sa sunod pila na kaha basig 40,000 na ang sweldo ninyo, no, kung mangantrabaho. But the inflation rate increases or decreases per year. So maapektuhan ra gihapon bisan pag sweldo tag 50,000, mao ra gihapon kay mas magkadugay magkamahal man unless if there's a changes in the economic aspects sa atong government, no, sa atong nasod, no. If you are working as assistant professor, kinahanglan na ka master's degree, no. Dapat na kay master's degree, and then you can be an assistant professor, and then you can be paid more than 30,000. And then if you reach the positions as associate professor 1, you can be paid as much as 50,000 per month, no, but you need master's degree. And then up to associate professor 5, you can be paid up to 78,000, but you need doctoral degrees, no? So if gusto ka nga makasweldo ka og tag 70,000 per month, dapat associate dapat PhD holder na ka. If wala pa kay PhD, naapa ka sa mga 30 to 60,000 ang imong monthly. And it's good, no, for a newbie for less than 10 years gikan pag-graduate, no? So if I'm not again presenting this to encourage you to teach, no, it depends because teaching is passion. I'm only presenting this as a reference kay mas reliable ang government standards or salary standardization sa government. Katong ganina ka sa internet man to wata kabalo, depende. But sa government it's really fair, no, kung pila gyud ang imong kuan. Kung moabot na kag professor kay PhD holder na ka, then you can earn at more than 100,000. How much more kung sa inyo nga time sa sunod pila na. But not everyone is in the field of teaching. No? Siguro sa 50 ninyo, isa ra gid siguro diha ang ganahan magtudlo or duha. So, this is just a presentation of how job opportunities or career opportunities open for us in the near future, for you in the near future. Okay? So, for your assignment, before you will ask questions, The first assignment, you write any list of your present international skills. For example, you have a skill of drawing, no? So imong i-explain, no? I-explain nimo nga first skill nimo drawing, no? This skill will help me blah 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 blah, and then I will engage in different job opportunities because I know how to draw ani, I know how to draw kana, and then explain mo in an essay. Another. So dapat na kay at least 3 skills, no? Dili pwede isa ra. Dili pwede duha, dili pwede nga isa or duha. Dapat 3, no? Mangita gid ka unsa gid ka ako mga skills, no? More than 3 is okay, and then it's good. But mangayo lang kog tulo. Kung kulang sa tulo, minusan na ako. Kung more than sa tulo, dugangan. Pero kung tulo, okay ra. Okay? Another assignment, number 2, is you browse the web or the internet and then explore the sites of employers. When we say employers, those are companies or organizations or agencies nga gusto nimo trabahoan in the near future nga nangandoy gid ka. And then many will have copies of annual reports and other operations information available for review, no kana unsa ilang mga accomplishment ana nga company or government agency baka ha, or abroad, local or abroad, pwede ra ha. And then you develop a list of those firms that are expanding their global operations. For example, ang ilang main branch sa Jollibee is Philippines, niabot na sila France, China, Japan, no? And then imo gin siyang tuki-tukion, no, kung gusto gid ka man trabaho ana, no? And then does there seem to be a pattern among organizations? Does it appear that any of these organizations are reducing their global operations? If so, why? So imo siyang i-critic, no? And then example, Jollibee, na example lang ha, you want to work in the Jollibee and then mauni ang imong mga annual reports nga nabasa nila, pila na sila ka branches, ana i-say nimo why you really interest to work with Jollibee. And then you put reasons based on your research nga okay, nag-expand man gud sila, pila na ka branch, no? Ang ilang sweldo sa ilang mga employees ingani, kung engineer daw ka, ang ilang mga positions ihatag is mga ingani. So mura kag critic og mura kag fan nila, mula kag dreamer nga makatrabaho sa ila pero imo pud siyang i-critic. Why? You really need to work on that particular company or you really need to work in your particular nga agency locally and abroad. Okay? Sa assignment 1, skills, no? Kung nakay skills nga mga ingani, sir, na ako'y skills, ganahan gid ko sir, na ako entrepreneurial skill. So discuss anong ganahan man kana nga skill, and then somehow mao na imong sudlan. Di man ko man trabaho sir, magnegosyo ra man ko. And then you put that in assignment 1. Okay. Question with the assignment. Question with the assignment. Before I will ask you a question about the lecture. Question with the assignment. It's already 10:30. Wala?
Sir, when ang deadline po? Dungan ba ang deadline sa assignment 1 and assignment 2, sir?
Okay. Assignment 1 and 2, the same sila nga deadline. Okay, the same sila nga presentation slides. However, today is 13. I will give you 2 weeks, so the deadline will be October 27. For both assignment 1 and 2. Okay, only PDF and only image ang akong dawaton. Kung naka-word file, di na ako dawaton kay dili ko maka-check, di ko maka-view sa website. So, kung papel nimo isulat, it's okay, picture, and then mao imong i-submit, no? Kung imong i-write, imong i-encode, imong i-PDF, mao imong i-submit. Dili naka-word file lang. So, it must be kanang naka-PDF or naka-JPEG or naka-image para mas dali na ako ma-check. Okay? Dili naka-Word file. Other questions about the assignment? Yes. Question? Questions, assignment? Questions, assignment? Wala na? So, pwede ra papel, pwede man paper, basta kay clean. And then, you take a picture. Kung gisulat ra nimo sa bond paper or sa papel, you take a picture and then submit. If ganahan ka, mas dako-dakog points, and then nakay computer, nakay laptop, you encode your answers. No? So, I will expect 2 assignments from you. So, you put assignment 1 and assignment 2. Any other questions? It's already 10:30. Wala?
Another question ko
Wala?
po.
Yes,
Sa
mapa.
assignment
Yes,
2,
mapa.
sir. Di ba sir mag-search man mi of ng answer like mga sites of employers tapos i-list down amo. Dayon magpili ra mi isa sir if unsa
Yes.
gusto na mo trabahoan
Yes.
or
Okay.
something.
Magpili lang ka. For example, you really want to work in National Food Authority in the Philippines. And then stock nimo sa National Food Authority, mag-stock gid ka sa iya. And then you take note on sa imong mga highlights nga imong nabasahan dito. For example, si National Food Authority daw DI is nag-hire sila mga IBE nga mauni. And then mao ilang sweldo. And then ang ilang trabaho mga ani, ang ilang accomplishment mauni, no? Nagatabang nila sa mga farmers. Ang ilang mga and then mura ra ka nag-discuss. It can be in a statement form, it also can be in a tabular form, it can also be in a bullet form unsa imong na-learn sa kanang imong gi-stock na employer. So that the main purpose of this is I want you to glance and I want you to think of a possible career nga imong masudlan, nga imong gipangandoy. Okay? Sir, wa man koy pangandoy man trabaho, sir. So bahala ko kay pangandoy man trabaho pag accomplish lang gyapon sa assignment number 2. No, and then you take note just nga kuan lang nako ni siya. Gusto ra gid ko mag-business, kuan lang nako ni siya kanang option lang nako ni siya in case di ko maka-business in the near future. Manarbaho na lang ko ani nga agency or ani nga company. Okay? So mura na kag mag-stock and then you take note ni mga highlight and then you put that in a statement form, in a tabular form or in a bullet form sa imong answer paper. All right. Sa assignment 1 is mga skills lang yun nimo nga feeling nimo is pang international siya nga level nga ma-practice nimo as engineer in the near future. Any questions? Other questions? Wala. Behave lagi. Cervantes. Pangutana.
None, sir.
Taro. Pangutana. Pacquiao.
Okay na po, sir.
Pacquiao. All right. How
Sir,
about the presentation?
okay na sir na
Yes.
tubag na.
How about the presentation? Do you have questions about our topic? About the salaries and etc.? Wala. Yes. Yes. Both the lecture video as well as the presentation slides, I will post that in LMS within the day. Any other questions? Wala? Wala na. Mangutana na. Routedale.
Wala naman, sir.
Wala na? Okay. If
Good
no
naman, sir.
other questions, if no further questions, then that's all for our lecture 4. And I hope that you learn from the lecture what are the job opportunities na pwede na ito mapilian or available para sa atua in the near future. And for the salary, do not mind nga, gamay raman di ay. So, we do not know, no? The world is round. Maybe in the near future, 10 years from now, kita na po ng pinakataas o kuan. Even now, engineers are highly paid. Graduate of engineering degrees are highly paid as compared to others. So, we are in the right track. We are in the right field. Okay. Last follow-up questions? No other questions? If none, so that's all for this week. Okay? That's
Sir,
all for this week. All right. Sorry.
About sa exam po, sir.
All right. Me and the other chairpersons who are handling the ES10 course are planning to have no midterm exam. We will decide on what requirement we will give you. But as to midterm exams, there's a possibility 80 to 90% nga walay midterm exam. However, there is a corresponding requirement nga mong ihatag sa inyo. We will announce then what's that particular requirement, no? Which is equivalent to midterm exam. So wala tayong midterm exam. Kaya even sa syllabus, wala may midterm exam nga giset. Final exam lang and then project. Okay. Next week, di punta mag-klase because I am invited as speaker of one of the agencies. Okay?